So this is that May 2023, and researchers are out there still grappling with a cure for cancer. But we have treatment, yes. We have radiation, we have chemotherapy, we have so many other therapies which can be used to treat cancer. And this is usually effective when cancer is diagnosed at early stages. So the progression of that disease can be terminated at very, very early stages. But when this metastasis, it's usually a really long shot, but people get cured. Anyway, so I came across a very interesting research which might sound fictional, but they were able to replicate that in mice, and they were able to come up with some very interesting results. Now, the research is based on another research which was on leukemia, but now the whole thing is you take the cells which are cancerous, then you convert them against those other cells which are still cancerous. So you pick a portion of those cells which are in that tumor, and then you convert them to now contribute to fighting the cells which are in that tumor. Kind of like sending a thief to catch a thief. You grab a thief, you convert that thief into a good person, and then you use them to know the mechanism of now capturing those who are now the bad guys. So this is exactly what's going on here. So let me explain the principle behind everything. Now we have two aspects here. We have the immunity, and we have now the pathogen, which is now the antigen expressed on the cancer cells. Now what usually happens will be we have cells usually in the immune part. We have cells usually called antigen presenting cells. We have something like dendritic cells. We have macrophages that will go and grab an antigen somewhere from maybe something like a pathogen or something foreign in the body, and then take that to the T cells. The T cells now are more specialized. They know how to create a new or devise a new method of killing whatever antigen that was associated by that pathogen. The APC will grab that antigen, take to T cells. T cell will now form the mechanism of killing whatever that was found. Now this is exactly what will happen here. Now we have the antigen presenting cells that will go and grab some of the tumor markers, the tumor antigens, and then take that to T cells. Now the T cells will now produce the immune response that will help in fighting off the tumor cells. This is very interesting. So here, the intermediary between the cancer cells and the immunity are the antigen presenting cells. Like a good example would be a macrophage. Now, in case that's the case, we can now eliminate that macrophage from now being an intermediary, and we go to that tumor. Now in that tumor, we pick some of the cells, we convert them to an antigen presenting cell, so it will mimic the actions of the macrophage, and then it will go to now the T cells, and the T cells will now be able to grab all the antigens on the surface, and now it's going to now create an immune response to fight the antigens where that originated from, which are now the tumor. Now that's very interesting, because now the advantage of now having the cells converted and then taken to now recognition will be, the tumor cell will have several antigens, several cancer cells antigens. We have several antigens, and when taken to the T cells, the T cell will recognize all the antigens. So when it will be forming the army that will go and start fighting off the tumor, it will have several aspects. It will have different, it will be a multifaceted attack toward the tumor, which means that there will be more than one action toward killing those cells. So that will be very, very interesting. What will happen here will be that cell will be converted, will be taken out of the body, converted to an antigen presenting cells, and then taken back to the body. So of course we will have several cells, so taken back to the body, so it will go to the immune cells, the T cells, and then so after recognition, the T cells will now be able to produce the actions that will be required now to kill the cells. Now you see, we are using the cell which was a tumor cell in killing other cells which were kind of a snitch. Now you convert this to a snitch, and then snitches on the rest. So that will be very interesting. Now suppose we don't want to invade into the tissue. There's a fictional way, that's what that article kind of concluded into. but it's something very, let's say, very viable. So what if we create RNA, which instead of now taking the cells out of the body, we can just inject that person with those RNAs. Those RNAs will go and target the tumor cells, and it will convert them, or some of them, into antigen presenting cells, and then we'll be able to now go and present the antigens to the T cells, and now the T cells will now be able to produce a multifaceted attack toward the tumor. So the progression of the tumor will be stopped, and the regression will start there, and the tumor will disappear. So I think that's a very interesting one, and I'll be following up that to see where that leads us to. So I'll make sure that I leave a link to that article for your reference. You can just go there and look for more details there. And actually, you can even go a step further and review the articles they have also referenced in that site. So you can just go ahead and look into the particulars. And make sure you are subscribed so that you don't get to miss any of the updates that I come up with. And also, I have so many other videos that you can just go and watch. I have some of them like on HIV, on blood groups. You can just go and see some more interesting there. And while out there, you find something interesting, share to your friends.